Well, good morning, South Mississippi, and happy Sunday morning. It is a great start to the day out there. Some of us were all the way down in the 40s to start off your Sunday, and we did have a little bit of fog out there in some spots, not nearly as dense or widespread as what we saw the past couple of days. But as we go through the next few days, we also want to keep in mind that fog will be possible in the morning, but similar to today, probably not going to be as widespread or dense as it has been in the past few days. Here's temperatures out there right now, right at as of 9 a.m. Most of us are starting to make our way into the 60s already. A few spots all the way down in the 50s still. So we do want to go ahead and keep an eye on that as we quickly warm up heading into the afternoon. But let's take a look at some of our tower cams. You're going to see that for the most part, any signs of fog are completely gone now. The National Weather Service did end up canceling the dense fog advisory that was originally going to expire at 9 a.m. That was canceled around the 8 a.m. hour. So for the most part, we have seen quite a clear start to the day. Mostly clear skies, a couple of passing upper level clouds, but for the most part, we are going to be seeing a fantastic blue sky out there today. Very dry and very warm. We're going to be entering a very dry and warm pattern for the next several days as well. I'm going to be getting back to that here shortly. But at the Gulfport Airport right now, things looking pretty good out there. Right now, 63 degrees, winds calm. Now we're going to watch for a sea breeze to set up later this afternoon. That'll keep the coastal areas just a little bit cooler, keeping most spots in about the low to mid 70s, whereas our inland areas where the sea breeze doesn't reach, we could warm up into those upper 70s, maybe even very close to or right at 80 degrees as we head into the afternoon. But you can also see visibility has restored back to 10 miles. That was something that we were watching for the fog this morning. The dense fog advisory has also been canceled over in Mobile as well. That one was set to expire at 9 a.m. as well, so that would make sense. We were watching for fog, especially along the bays and rivers. That's where it is most likely to show up, especially on mornings like this. But good news is that your traveling plans are pretty much good to go. Just make sure you're keeping an eye out for the chance for fog over the next few mornings if you are traveling outside of the area. High pressure nearby, and that is really going to be the main source of our weather for the next several days. That very slow moving system, that slowly sinking air, does mean that we're going to be very warm and very dry for most of the week. You can even see, if we zoom out just a little bit more, you can start to see the storm systems do tend to rotate up and around this ridge. You can see that happening. Those are upper level clouds that are starting to be forced up and around this system. That is going to continue to happen the next several days. Upper air pattern as we go into the week. Well, that high pressure system is being fueled by an upper level ridge in the yellow and orange there. And as that slowly moves towards the south and east, we're going to end up on that west side of the ridge. That keeps us pretty warm, pretty dry. And as that continues to move further east, there's a chance that we do start to see that humidity return. That could become the source for fog some mornings. So especially by midweek, we want to start watching for the possibility for more mornings with that dense fog along the coast. But you can see there, low pressure system in the blue, in the cold, that is what is going to be eventually starting to push back in. That would return us to close to average temperatures, but for at least the foreseeable future, the next 5 to 7 days, we're going to be staying warm, well above average temperatures here for this time of year. Let's talk about today's forecast. Most of us will end up in those low 70s, maybe even the mid 70s, very similar to what we saw out there yesterday. And our coastal areas, we're going to watch for that sea breeze to set up. It could be a little bit gusty, mainly out of the southeast once that breeze does begin. And gusts as far as the immediate coastline could expect around 10 to 15 miles per hour, maybe a little bit higher in some spots. So if you are planning on maybe taking a walk or setting up on the beach for the day, just keep in mind you may have to deal with those stronger wind gusts coming off of the water later in the afternoon. Here's what that looks like. You can see our 3 coastal counties have the highest chance of seeing those higher wind gusts, once again, right around that 10 to 15 mile per hour range, mainly becoming much more out of the south once that breeze sets up. If you're further inland, a very light breeze out of the east, and well, that does mean that you are likely to see those warmer temperatures, mainly north of I-10 is where we could get very close to 80 degrees. Going into the overnight hours, though, both the coast and inland will start to see those winds relax back down. As for your high temperatures, as this high pressure system continues to very slowly cross through the region, we're going to slowly see those temperatures crank on up. That sea breeze likely to happen each day, so our coastal areas probably going to stay in about the mid 70s, maybe lower if we can get that breeze to set up earlier in the day. But our inland areas, that is a very warm week up ahead. Many of us could start to push into those lower 80s, especially areas like Wiggins, Loosedale, Poplarville easily could break 80 degrees, especially once we get into Wednesday and Thursday. And looking at our average there in the top, that's the average for Gulfport this time of year. Most afternoons around 67 degrees. So we are running about 10 degrees above average at Gulfport this week, at least expected to. Now, today is the first day of Meteorological Spring, so happy spring. Of course, this is March 1st every year. This one is based on the annual temperature cycle for your monthly average temperatures. It's also done this way, that way our climate records always show spring starting on the same day each year. That is because astronomical spring usually bounces around just a little bit depending on the equinox. Usually is going to be in late March, usually around the 21st or 22nd, and that is based on Earth's position relative to the sun. That's when the equator, or the sun's rays, are directly above the equator here on Earth. That is the equinox. Now, more interesting in space weather, we do have a total lunar eclipse happening this week. It's the only total lunar eclipse of the year, and the last one until 2028. So it's going to be a really good opportunity to try and catch some good pictures, because this is going to be very low in the horizon, the maximum eclipse at 5:30 in the morning, and the moon will start to dip below the horizon as the eclipse is coming to an end. So in terms of pictures, in terms of viewing opportunity, this is a fantastic one to try and catch. The only problem is that we are going to keep a very close eye out for low cloud cover, maybe some fog. This is currently the Euro forecast model simulating temperature and radar here, and you can see about 3 o'clock in the morning near the start of the eclipse, we could be dealing with a little bit of low cloud cover just to our west, as well as the potential for some fog along the coast. So in terms of viewing opportunity, this model has kind of been back and forth on the timing and the coverage of this. So we're going to have to just continue to keep a very close eye on this forecast over the next day or two. Wait until the forecast models can kind of narrow down exactly what we could expect. Also wait for those close range models to get a little bit more of a bigger picture as to what we could expect when the fog develops. You can see even trying to show a few showers there early Tuesday morning, but of course with the high pressure system nearby, the chance of rain is very low. Depending on the wind direction, we're gonna have to wait and see if the humidity will be favorable for fog or not. So just a couple of different factors we're gonna watch. Temperature wise, looks pretty good, with most of us seeing the potential for those 60s during the early morning hours on Tuesday. So we just have to kind of wait and see what that forecast ends up doing. We're going to keep a close eye on that here online and on air. But let's move over to your 7-day forecast here in South Mississippi. A very dry and warm week up ahead. Rain chances very low all the way through about Wednesday or Thursday. You can see those temperatures slowly climbing each day. Most of us in the mid to upper 70s. Now, once again, that is dependent on that sea breeze. Our coastal areas might end up a little bit cooler if that breeze does set up earlier in the day. Our inland areas north of I-10, you've got a shot at the 80s by the middle of the week.